First of all, I want to say I'm a little bit sick, so if my voice is weird, that's the reason why. But I've been sick for the past 2 days, and recently Neace exploded on Twitter and YouTube because he reads Masters on Korea. And I wanted to talk about it because I think both people that support Neace and people that hate on Neace are in the wrong to some extent, and I want to explain why I think that both parties that are on the extreme one side or the other are wrong. So the first thing is that Nice has claimed that he's a multi-role, multi-season challenger, and that basically means that he should be able to reach challenger on Korea, and that's his goal, and he has 2 years to do it. So he hit Masters and he hit it legitimately, so congratulations to Nice for doing that. But there is a big difference between reaching Master and reaching Challenger. A lot of people think that going from Silver 3 to Silver 2, which is 100 LP, will be the same as going from Master 1 LP to Master 100 LP, right? But that's not the case. It gets increasingly more difficult because you will be playing against better opponents that knows how to play the game. So even if you are a good player relatively compared to your elo, the enemy team will also be better players and will therefore know how to lock you down so that you cannot carry the game single-handedly. And even just the difference between low master and high master is very big. And he hit Masters 1 LP, but what people have to keep in mind is the fact that he's still closer to D1 than actual Master or Grandmaster. And from what I've seen, the highest LP that he's played against directly in terms of lane has been 140 LP, where he won. So can he get to 100 LP? Yeah, he probably can. Can he get to 200? Yeah, he probably can. Can he get higher than that? I don't know. Nice has said this many times that he does not like that people can duo to master, and it's fair to mention that he doesn't think that this system is good, and he thinks that there should be a solo queue only system. For solo queue, that's completely fine to mention it, but you can either adapt to it and say, okay, I will abuse this duo system because it is allowed for me to do so, or I can choose not to. It's kind of like if you are allowed to take some type of recovery medicine and you're an athlete, but you choose not to, but then you are going to complain about the fact that, oh, everyone is using it. Well, you can do the same thing. It is not excluding you from being able to do the very same thing. Then he's talking about that Korea is so much more difficult of a server compared to any other server in the entire world. And to this, I want to bring up a MidBeast reference because MidBeast has played on all regions when it comes to Korea, US. I think he also played on Chinese server, NA, and then of course his own region, OS. And in that video, he basically mentioned that Korea is like a 9 out of 10. And US is an 8 out of 10, and Chinese Super Server is a 9 out of 10, while NA is like a 6 out of 10, and OS being a 4 out of 10. So, do people think that Korea is better than US solo queue? Yes. There are many different reasons why people think that it's better, but it's not a significant difference. Like, if you are a challenger player in US, you are probably somewhat equivalent to a Korean challenger. Maybe a little bit lower by 100, 200, 300 LP, but not a massive difference. And same thing goes with the Chinese Super Server. And these are the 3 servers that I personally believe are major regions, and all other ones are minor regions, either due to the fact that pro play is not accomplished enough internationally, or server size simply being very, very small. So no, US and Korea is not a massive difference. NA and Korea, yes. NA and US, yes. But these 3 are somewhat comparable. We can go into details why Korea is better than US, and just to give a few points, it's basically the fact that EU West is very heavily LP inflated because people can transfer their accounts, people can create new accounts, have smurfs, etc., etc. While in Korea, you can only have one account because it's connected to your social ID, and therefore it's much more difficult to get access to Korean accounts, and that's why people just stick to one account, etc., etc., and they don't transfer. This is also the reason why US Challenger cutoff is a lot higher than the Korean one. But it doesn't mean that the competition once you're there is that big. If I have to point out another reference, then I would reference Selfmade, who was recently in Korea, and he basically said that mechanically Korea are superior, but Korea is also very, very stupid when it comes to macro because they want to play every single fight, meaning that they are not good at determining, at least in solo queue, if they should give an objective or if they shouldn't. They would most likely just fight for every objective, no matter if it's a good or a bad fight that they're about to take. And then a lot of people, this is actually Neace's defense, a lot of people are saying that, oh, you have to be challenger and actual challenger in order to coach, or in order to be a good coach. And to that, I will say that no, you don't have to be challenger, and you don't even have to be high elo, and you can coach clients that are higher elo than yourself. And a good way to showcase this is simply going to pro play and saying that, well, I want to see, well, what rank are the coaches in LEC. And there are some of them that are challenger or previously challenger. I am very much aware of that, but it's not everyone who is that. If you have a look here, this guy is Master, Peak. This guy is Diamond 1. This guy is... I actually believe Freddy was higher elo, but it was before LoL Pro's website was a thing. But I'm not 100% sure on that. This guy, Master. This guy was Challenger in Season 12. This is also Haydn. He was actually a 1000 LP, I believe, as jungle. Also Challenger. Grandmaster. Maybe he's Challenger on another account. Well, I actually know this guy. I didn't know he was Heretics coach. Grandmaster, and here also Grandmaster. So these coaches are coaching some of the best players in the West. Players that are multi-season challenger, previously rank 1, top 10, etc., etc. And people will say, well, how can they coach those players when they are not even high elo themselves? And it's quite simple because, first of all, solo queue and competitive coaching is completely different. But a coach does not have to be able to pull off what he's teaching himself. He just needs to understand the concept and be able to explain it and showcase it to the pro player and then discuss it with the pro player. Just like if you have like someone who wants to become a bodybuilder. Well, if you have someone who is studying in terms of like the body and the physique and the form you have to do in order to perform the exercises, well, then he can showcase you how to do it without actually have done it himself. So yeah, you don't have to be challenger in order to be a good coach. There's a big difference between solo queue coaching and competitive coaching. Solo queue coaching focuses a lot on an individual and his champion pool, his playstyle, etc., etc. And competitive coaching takes into account team plays, team coordinating, practice, drafting, all these sort of stuff. So you cannot compare a competitive coach and a solo queue coach because they focus on completely different things. And then on top of that, a good coach is simply someone who can explain complicated plays that is happening in the game to a lower elo player and simplify it for the lower elo player so that the lower elo player can understand these concepts and apply them and actually use them himself in his own games. when he then understands them correctly and he can pull them off correctly, well, then he should be climbing and he should be improving as a player. And if you can do this on repeat in different elos, both low elo, medium elo, and high elo, if you can do it on multiple different roles, multiple different champions, well, then you are a very, very good coach. So that doesn't mean that you have to play every single role, you have to be high elo on every single role, because that is very, very difficult. And huge respect to people like Matthew Felix, who's done it. But you don't have to be like Matthew Felix in order to coach different roles. And then Neace is like, I'm the most popular coach. And yes, maybe you are the most searched up coach. Could very well be. Haven't fact checked this, but let's just say that doesn't mean that he's the best coach. It's never been like this. Same thing for most expensive coach. Yes, you charge the most and you have some people booking your coaching. That still doesn't mean that you are the best coach. And then he has another argument where he says, I have coached the most people, so I am therefore the best coach. Well, no, not really, because it depends on the results. I can also be spam coaching 10 hours a day and do like lightning quick coaching for like 10-15 minutes and say, oh, this is coaching. And then I can go to 10,000 clients and then say, well, now I am the most experienced coach. Well, no, that's not how it works. It all comes down to results. Have you coached people to high elo successfully? Have you seen people, have you seen clients climb 400, 800, 1,000 LP from the starting point multiple times, again, on different roles, different champions, different metas? Well, then yes, then you are probably the best coach. But I don't think Neace is the best coach. And then a lot of people are hating on Neace for the wrong reasons, and these are the people that think that Neace win traded some of the games that he got masters in, and to that I will say this is very, very, very unlikely because of the fact that he's playing on Korea. There are not a lot of players in Korea that know of Neace. So doesn't really make sense that he would then get win traded. And there's also no proof of it, so there's no point in trying to point it out. Just because Neace has lied in the past about things does not mean that you can just accuse him of every single thing, and then if he says the answer that you don't want, that he's lying. He also didn't get boosted because he was streaming his games, so obviously you know that it's him playing. We're not going to go into a conspiracy theory where somebody was playing for him with a different keyboard and mouse off camera, because that's just ridiculous. And then, yeah, the last thing is that Neace did legitimately hit Masters, but the only thing that you can point out with this account that he hit Masters on is the fact that he played on a fresh account. And the reason why that this can be an issue for some people is the fact that if you take his other account that was like I think it was Plat 2. I think we can actually find it. Where is his other account? This one, right? Okay, it's Platinum 1. So this Platinum 1 account, this account with his current LP gains and whatnot cannot skip promos. Well, he cannot skip divisions is what I mean. So because he cannot skip divisions, that means he has to get an extra, let's say 4 to 6 wins per division that he wasn't capable of skipping. In this situation, it would be from Diamond 4 to Diamond 2. So that in itself means that he has to get a few extra wins. On top of that, it's gonna take him more wins to get 100 LP in Masters on this account right here compared to his fresh account. Because that account will be naturally gaining more LP if this is gonna make it to Masters than the other one. So this one will get lower LP gains because the higher LP you get, LP goes up, but the gains, they go down. So that is the reason why he decided to swap account and whatnot, and it makes sense. So this is the only thing that you can point out with his I hit Masters thing, but just like anyone else, this is something that everyone is capable of doing. So everyone can duo, so stop complaining about duo, because you can also do it. And then people saying that Neace only hit Masters because he played on a fresh account. Well, you can do the exact same thing, and most people who go to Korea will be playing on a fresh account. So it goes both ways. Then I wanted to showcase this clip right here.
Is Korea? Look how many people are in the low elos of Korea. They have, in iron and bronze alone, they have 10 million accounts.
Holy crap.
That's bronze and iron alone.
God
Os,
damn.
in bronze and iron, you don't even clear 1 million. Yeah.
Damn.
So this is ridiculous. Neace, what this means, it's not that you take the 1.8 million in Iron 4 and add 1.8 million in Iron 3. That's not how it works. How it works is, this is the total amount of players. As you can see, 100% of players. 1,812,000 players. These are the amount of ranked players as of whatever date this is on the Korean server. So there are not 10 million low elo Korean accounts. There is 500k in bronze and iron combined. If we then compare that to EU West, well, it looks very, very similar. And it doesn't matter how many players that are in this elo bracket, so from Iron 4 to D1, because this does not change the ladder whatsoever. Because all you need is 100 LP and then you promote. The thing that does matter is the high elo section. So from Master to Challenger. The more Master players there are, means that it pushes the Grandmaster LP up, means it pushes the Challenger LP up. And this is what I said, that EU West is the most inflated out of the high elo or out of the major region servers. But it's a problem, yes, but it doesn't mean the server is completely trash. And if we then go back to Korea, you will see, yes, there are only half the amount of master players. And this is because, as I said, people cannot create Smurf accounts and transfer and blah blah blah. That is the main reason why this number is not as big. That means that the LP required for Grandmaster is lower, and it means the LP for Challenger is also lower compared to West. But it's more difficult because you'll be playing against players who are all playing on their main account, who have the mentality of I want to win. Whereas on West, a lot of people will play in their Smurf and they will practice or play for fun, blah blah blah, and not take the game seriously and not really caring about winning or losing, at least not to the same extent as here. So yeah, I think both people who are supporting Neace and being like, oh, Neace hit Masters is like really, really good, and he can now make it to Challenger and everything is now like proven wrong, is incorrect, because Neace still did lie about his own accomplishments. Yes, he hit Masters legitimately, but as I said, big difference between Master and Challenger. And there's still a long way to go. I'm not saying that this is Neace's peak. I think he can get 100, maybe 200 LP. But I also think that people are hating on Neace for other reasons outside the fact that he lied and he charges a lot of money for coaching that is not really worth that pricing point in terms of the quality of the coaching. And then people saying that he win traded, he didn't, he got boosted, he didn't, and you can kind of point this one out, but just like Neace's duo argument, it's relevant because everyone can do it. It's not limited to people. It would be different if it was a pro account. And this is also something Neace has mentioned in his video, that he says that transferring is a problem. Yes, I agree, but everyone can do it, unless if you don't have $40, but I'm assuming most people do. And then what Neace gets wrong outside of this is the fact that he says that Riot accounts is a problem, but there is a difference between a Riot account and a pro account. A pro account gets put from the very first game, I think Diamond, I can't remember if it's low Diamond or high Diamond, from the very first game. And a Riot account would just be put, like any other fresh account, it would be put in a silver or gold game from the very first game, depending on the normal game, MMR. So this would be put D4 to D1, and this one would be put like silver to gold, right? Very big difference. And he thinks that these are the same thing, but it's not. These are only for actual pro players, and these are for people that are partnered with Riot. So yes, people that have a pro account have a significant advantage, but these are also players that you're not really competing with. You're not realistically competing with LEC players or LCK players in this specific situation. So yeah, that's basically the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think about this entire Neace hitting Master situation. I tried to be as unbiased as I possibly could, because I could simply see people on both sides being incorrect. And yeah, I feel like it is basically where I'm putting it at. Obviously, I think I'm correct, right? But this is where I feel like the story really lies, or is really, realistically speaking, like the truth. So yeah, congratulations Neace once again on reaching Master, but you still have a long way to go when it comes to Challenger. I personally don't think you're gonna hit it, but feel free to surprise me and reach Challenger. But the ego can go a little bit down, please. It's way too high at the moment. Like, yes, you hit Masters, but no point in celebrating it with champagne and a party, because the challenge really just started from now. Like, the challenge does not start from silver. It starts from Master 1 LP until Grandmaster, and then until Challenger. This is where the challenge starts. And you are here. Right? So